Out of splash. Hoorah. Yeah. What's up, baby? How you doing? Welcome to the Underwave. This is Akira the Dun. This is Meaning Stream. Something. 189. Yeah. Welcome, one and all. Smash that like. Post that link in the Discord. Post that link on some kind of a link posting device. YouTube's doing that thing again where it doesn't send out our notifications to our 55,000 subscribers. So we must do it ourselves, brothers and sisters. And tonight we're going in with a wet set. We're getting wet tonight, baby. Splash, splash. What's cracking, Scott Boyd? Talking about one of the other elements. Says, I listened to trees come out of the air last night whilst watching a log burn on the campfire. I've been getting a lot of messages from people saying they look at fire completely different now after listening to that song. And that's a beautiful thing. If you've not heard it, it's the new song with Richard Feynman from Meaningwave Masterpieces 2. Coming very soon. Yeah. Shouts out to everybody locked in. How are you all doing today? What up, YouTube hero Alex? What up, Pitsio Cat? What up, Resonance Within? Says, drench me, Mr. Akira. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Everyone's been so, what was it? Last night we had loads of these saucy comments. People telling me to stick it in and all sorts of stuff. My goodness. This is an underwater family show. We're going deep sea diving in the rivers of meaning, in the oceans of meaning, baby. The great oceans of meaning. Whoa, what is this guy? Chill. Shouts out everybody listening on the podcast. Shouts out to all the podcast gang. You know, you can probably hear it from the vibes, but if you're listening, just try and imagine that the spaceship is underwater today. The Meaningwave Autonomous Zone. The good ship Wave Rider. We're taking it deep, baby. Deep as the ocean abyss. Yo.
There are these two young fish swimming along, and they happen to meet an older fish swimming the other way, who nods at them and says, "Morning, boys, how's the water?" and the two young fish swim on for a bit, and then eventually one of them looks over at the other and goes, "What the hell is water?" What the hell is water? What the hell is water? This is a standard requirement of U.S. commencement speeches, the deployment of didactic little parable-ish story. The story thing turns out to be one of the better, less bullshitty conventions of the genre. But if you're worried that I plan to present myself here as the wise older fish explaining what water is to you younger fish, please don't be. I am not the wise old fish. The point of the fish story is merely that the most obvious, important realities are often the ones that are hardest to see and talk about. Stated as an English sentence, of course, this is just a banal platitude. But the fact is that in the day-to-day trenches of adult existence, banal platitudes can have a life or death importance. Or so I wish to suggest to you on this dry and lovely morning. What the hell is water? 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 Of course, the main requirement of speeches like this is that I'm supposed to talk about your liberal arts education's meaning. To try to explain why the degree you're about to receive has actual human value instead of just a material payoff. So let's talk about the single most pervasive cliche in the commencement speech genre, which is that a liberal arts education is not so much about filling you up with knowledge as it is about, quote, teaching you how to think. If you're like me as a student, you've never liked hearing this, and you tend to feel a bit insulted by the claim that you've needed anybody to teach you how to think. Since the fact that you even got admitted to a college this good seems like proof that you already know how to think. Think. But I'm going to posit to you that the liberal arts cliche turns out not to be insulting at all. Because the really significant education in thinking that we're supposed to get in a place like this isn't really about the capacity to think, but rather about the choice of what to think about. If your total freedom of choice regarding what to think about seems too obvious to waste time discussing, I'd ask you to think about fish and water and to bracket for just a few minutes your skepticism about the value of the totally obvious. What the hell is water? 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 What the hell?
Hey.
What the hell is water?
Big questions
What the hell is water?
from Big PP. David Foster Wallace. God bless. Hey. That was David Foster Wallace there, making sweet musical love to the Twin Peaks soundtrack. remix that I did. Falling. Both of those tracks are out. Both of those tracks are out. Warning, we've detected copyrighted audio. What are you talking about? What? YouTube's going crazy on me lately. You're just trying to copyright strike me for my own music. What the heck? While I'm streaming and all. Yo, yo. Yo. Hey, anyway, shouts out to everybody locked in. What's going on, baby? What's going on? Rowdick H says you're a meaning G, bro. You're a meaning G, bro. God bless. What's cracking, Chris? All in. Yeet, 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 yeet. Oh, you telling me, baby. You telling me? Mike Better says I need a snorkel. I don't need a snorkel. I got a spaceship. Look, I'm protected by the incredibly powerful glass of my spaceship. And that weird force field up there that keeps cutting my finger off. Whoa! Look at that. Crazy. Crazy, baby. Crazy. Baby,
I concentrate every minute like a Roman, like a man, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice, and on freeing yourself from all other distractions. Yes, you can, if you do everything as if it was the last thing you were doing in your life, and stop being aimless. Stop letting your emotions override what your mind knows. Stop being hypocritical, self-centered, irritable. You see how few things you have to do to live a satisfying and reverent life? If you can manage this, that's all even the gods can ask of you. Yeah, keep on degrading yourself. So, soon your chance of dignity, it will be gone. Everybody gets one life. Yours is almost all used up now. Instead of treating yourself with respect, you have entrusted your own happiness unto the souls of others. Unto the souls of others.
Do external things distract you, and make time to learn something worthwhile. Stop letting yourself be pulled in all directions. Just make sure you guard against the other kind of confusion. People who labor all their lives that have no purpose to direct every thought and impulse towards, are wasting all their time. Even when hard at work, even when hard at work, ignoring what goes on in other people's souls. No one ever came to grief that way. But if you won't keep track of what your own soul's doing, how can you not be unhappy? Don't ever forget these things, the nature of the world, my nature, how I relate unto the world, what proportion of it I make up, that you are part of nature, and no one can prevent you from speaking and acting in harmony with it. Always.
Yeah, keep on degrading yourself. So, soon your chance of dignity, it will be gone. Everybody gets one life. Yours is almost all used up now. But instead of treating yourself with respect, you have entrusted your own happiness unto the souls of others. Unto the souls of others. Yeah.
Shouts out to Yankee Level 100. Yo, Akira, I am being more proactive in my search for love and romance. Bless up. Yeah, that's excellent news, baby. What you doing? You going to the supermarket? What you doing? You going rock climbing? What's cracking? You going archery lessons? What you up to? Where you looking for love, baby? Where does a person look for love nowadays? Pretty sure the supermarket might be good. Just make sure you don't look in the wrong places. You know, that's the trick. Don't be looking for love in all the wrong places. That's my amazing advice. Lance Kirk is enjoying the view from the spaceship. The Starship Wave Rider. Starship Wave Rider. Yeah. Shouts out to everybody locked in. Smash that like. Post that link in the Discord. All that kind of business. YouTube's gone into full-blown overdrive in not letting any of our 55,000 subs know anything about what we do again. It kind of goes in waves, you know, splash, splash, as the waves. You know, one week they'll be awful, one week they'll be a bit less awful. But, you know, you just have to be stoic about it and be like, well, it's a beautiful platform, we get to be here. And, you know, have our spaceship, it's nice. So, shouts out to the whole situation. The vibes tonight, as you can tell, are some oceanic vibes. We got some oceanic vibes going on. You know, our respect to the new collection that dropped at Meaningwave.com, which is called The Great Wave of Meaning. Dropped on Meaningwave.com along with a bunch of other wavy stuff. But yeah, we got the Great Wave of Meaning collection. You want to go check that out at Meaningwave.com because it's very epic and you deserve epic. And frankly, I'm a big fan of, like, you know, wet stuff, wet music, you know? I mean, the thing is called Meaningwave. And as you can hear, I mean, listen to that. That just sounds like water, right? Splash. I've always found myself very attracted to liquid sonics. Something that has a liquid quality to it. You know, a smart cat once said, you know, be like water. And that is something I've always applied. I've always applied that, you know. Resistance is futile after all. Kara's 993 says, Akira, you're a huge inspiration. You are beautiful.
Another didactic little story. There are these two guys sitting together in a bar in the remote Alaskan wilderness. One of the guys is religious, the other's an atheist, and the two are arguing about the existence of God with that special intensity that comes after about the fourth beer. And the atheist says, look, it's not like I don't have actual reasons for not believing in God. It's not like I haven't ever experimented with the whole God and prayer thing. Just last month, I got caught away from camp in that terrible blizzard, and I was totally lost, and I couldn't see a thing, and it was 50 below. And so I tried it. I fell to my knees in the snow and cried out, oh God, if there is a God, I'm lost in this blizzard, and I'm gonna die if you don't help me. And now, in the bar, the religious guy looks at the atheist all puzzled. Well, then you must believe now, he says. After all, here you are, alive. The atheist just rolls his eyes. No, man, all that was a couple Eskimos happened to come wandering by and they showed me the way back to camp. It's easy to run this story through a kind of standard liberal arts analysis. The exact same experience can mean two totally different things to two different people, given those people's two different belief templates and two different ways of constructing meaning from experience. Experience. Meaning from experience.
Hey.
Experience.
Meaning from experience, baby.
Meaning from experience.
Shouts out to everybody locked in. Particularly shouts out to Alexis. What's cracking, Alexis?
Meaning from experience.
COLELCTION.
Because we prize tolerance and diversity of belief, nowhere in our liberal arts analysis do we want to claim that one guy's interpretation is true and the other guy's is false or bad. Which is fine, except we also never end up talking about just where these individual templates and beliefs come from, meaning where they come from inside the two guys. As if a person's most basic orientation toward the world and the meaning of his experience was somehow just hardwired, like height or shoe size, or automatically absorbed from the culture, like language. As if how we construct meaning were not actually a matter of personal, intentional choice. Plus there's the matter of arrogance. The non-religious guy is so totally certain in his dismissal of the possibility that the passing Eskimos had anything to do with his prayer for help. True, there are plenty of religious people who seem arrogantly certain of their own interpretations too. They're probably even more repulsive than atheists. At least to most of us. A religious dogmatist problem is exactly the same as the story's unbeliever. Blind certainty. A closed-mindedness that amounts to an imprisonment so total that the prisoner doesn't even know he's locked up. The point here is that I think this is one part of what teaching me how to think is really supposed to mean. To be just a little less arrogant. To have just a little critical awareness about myself and my certainties. Because a huge percentage of the stuff that I tend to be automatically certain of is, it turns out, totally wrong and deluded. I have learned this the hard way, as I predict you graduates will too.
Make some noise for David Foster Wallace. David Foster Wallace there. Meaning from experience. From the very rare Water Wave. This is Water Wave. This is Water Wave. Precursor to that Be Like Water Wave. Woo!
Want to do is you want to enter into a conversation so that you come out wiser than you went in. The best example of this is when you're having an argument with your intimate partner, let's say, because you're going to want to win. So then you got to think, okay, well, wait a second, we better sort out what winning means here. So let's say that you're more verbally fluent than your partner and more treacherous, so you can win. That doesn't mean you're right, first of all. Winning when you're wrong is a really bad idea. Because then you think you're right. And you're not. And then Maybe the person can see things you can't, but can't verbalize them quite as well. Well, you might want to listen. Just there's the possibility that they're trying to tell you how not to run headlong into a brick wall. There's some possibility of that. And so maybe you even have to help them formulate. It's like, okay, I don't get exactly what you're saying. I don't get exactly why you're annoyed. I'm not sure exactly what you want me to do to change it. Let's get this clear. And then I'm going to think about it. Like, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I'm going to see if possibly you're right. I'm not going to roll over, because I would rather you weren't right. I'm not going to change. But I am going to listen. I would rather not run headlong into a brick wall if I don't have to. And so that's the idea with the conversation.
Wow, baby. Assume that the person you're listening to might know something you do not. As Akira the Don and Jordan B. Peterson from the debut album. The debut Akira the Don and Jordan B. Peterson album, 12 Rules for Life, from 2018. That was the first Meaningwave full-length album. And it sounds delightful to this very day. Who wants new Jordan B. Peterson? Who wants a new Jordan B. Peterson Akira the Don album? Make some noise in the chat if thou dost. Also, let me know where you're clocking in from today. Where is your ape suit at? We need to say where the people are from today. We need to do an international high five. It's a custom we have here in the MAZ, the Meaningwave Autonomous Zone. Teen success is what happened to JP. Quick answer to that is if you wish to be a phoenix, first you must burn. Yeah, dig. Darian Ballard says, yes. Alex Bryan says, me. Bruno Andrelez says, yeah. Caroline H says, I do. Jeremy Patuska. Loud noises. All right, chat's going crazy. Chat's going crazy, baby.
The substance of the tree is carbon. Where did that come from?
Yeah, careful what you wish for.
It's carbon dioxide from the air. People look at trees and they think it comes out of the ground. The plants grow out of the ground. But if you ask, where does substance come? You find out, where does it come from? Trees come out of the air? They surely come out of the air. No, they come out of the air. No, they come out of the air. The carbon dioxide in the air goes into the tree and it changes it, kicking out the oxygen and pushing the oxygen away from the carbon and leaving the carbon substance with water. Water comes out of the ground. Only it came out of the air, didn't it? It came down from the sky. So in fact, most of the tree, or almost all of the tree is out of the ground.
I'm sorry.
It's out of the air.
Out of the air?
Now, of course, I told you the oxygen and carbon stick together very
tight.
How is it the tree is so smart to manage to take the carbon dioxide, just the carbon oxygen, nicely combined, and undo that so easy? Life has some mysterious force. No, the sun is shining. And it's the sunlight that comes down and knocks this oxygen away from the carbon. So it takes sunlight to get the plant to work. And so the sun, all the time, is doing the work of separating the oxygen away from the carbon. The oxygen is some kind of terrible byproduct, which it spits back into the air, and leaving the carbon and water and stuff to make the substance of the tree. Then when we take the substance of the tree and stick it in the fireplace, there's all the oxygen made by these trees. And all the carbon would much prefer to be close together again. And once you let the heat to get it started, it continues and makes an awful lot of activity while it's going back together again.
Epic activities.
And all this nice light and everything comes out. And everything is being undone. You're going back from carbon and oxygen, back to carbon dioxide. And the light and heat that's coming out, that's the light and heat of the sun that went in. The sun that went in.
Wow.
So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log. So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log.
So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log. So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log.
So it's sort of stored a log. So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log.
So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log. So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log.
So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log. So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log.
Yeah. MAC, make some noise. Richard Feynman and Akira at the door. From that Meaningwave Masterpieces 2. Coming super soon to a record store near you. And very epic it is too, baby. We're just doing the final tweaking and polishing, make sure it just slaps just right. It's got to slap just right, you know. I'm on the stage of the game now. I just sending back mix notes to my guy, my boy James. He's mixing and mastering it. Be like, just do like little things like sub bass bigger. Sub bass even bigger. No, still bigger sub bass. No, it's so close, baby. It's epic. The last track in particular, by the way, might be the most epic song we've ever done. Just so as you know. Woo! You know, we've done some epic songs. Wow. Embrace the Quest says, what a fine Meaningwave. Very funny. I like that. That's good. Bruno Andres says, Firewaves. Yo. YouTube Hero Alex says, to a record store near you. Record? That's what you call them, isn't it? Record stores, places where people get music now. That's giving me a thought. Get after it. What's going on in here anyway? Who we got in the place? Full Killer 364447321 is on a trip up to Maryland. What's up? What's up, baby? Darian Byler, what's cracking, baby? Chris Whitmire, much love from Georgia, USA. Shouts out to you, baby. John McGarvey's in Idaho. In Madness Lies Sanity is straight up legendary. Luke Brubacher's in Portland, Oregon. And Bruce DeQua's Ape Suit and Nakatosh Dawn and Want to Be Healed by JBP Wave. Yeah, Scott Boyd, give me more JBP. Gustavo Gomez, time for Netflix and Krill. 207K Stux 5, JBP. Jeremy Patuska is in Melbourne, Australia. Shouts out to you. Suela Duena, same men and women too. Hey, Mike B out of the year. Adam Karasikia in Canada. Shouts out to you, baby. Shouts out to the whole crew. What's up? Adam Karasikia. Yo, Jason Fortune. Listening to Trees Come Out of the Air. Sat next to a fire by a lake this morning. Righteous. Proud of y'all. Proud of y'all, baby. Gotta be doing major league shouts out to Brazil. Ultra mega nuclear ultrasonic. Shouts out to Brazil all day. What's cracking, Bruno? What's cracking, High Weeds in Minnesota. Darren Rivas in Louisiana. Joe Rooney, Spring City, PA. LL Cool J. Discovered this channel by searching Interscope plus CIA and finding your 2007 article, How I Survived a Major Record Label Deal. Wow. That's epic. It's funny because I was mentioning that today. Kanye West was tweeting some useful stuff today about record deals and stuff, and he was like, a record deal, an advance. Don't take advances. That's just a loan. I laughed because I was saying that a long time. I've been saying that for a long time. I was saying that in 2004. I was saying that in 2005. And when I got my record deal with Interscope Records, the advance, they were trying to tell me how I could spend my advance. Like, I wanted to buy a home recording studio. They didn't want to let me. It took a lot of wrangling and fighting for me to actually get that in a form that I could spend it on my own recording studio. Because they want you in their studios, right? So not only do you have to pay back the loan through record sales, but you also pay them to use the record studios, so they get the money twice. It's so funny. Shouts out to Interscope Records. Shouts out to Jimmy Iovine, all them guys.
Meaning is what you have to buttress yourself against the tragedy of life.
May they live long and see us progress, baby.
Despite the fact that you're a fragile, damaged, mortal creature, you found something to do that announced itself as worthwhile. That's meaning.
Whoa!
It's an instinct.
Whoa!
It's a deep, deep instinct. It's maybe the deepest instinct. It's like a form of vision.
Yo, this needs like a Calvin Klein ad.
The right place.
That's meaning.
And the right place is between chaos and
instinct. Yeah.
And those are real places. Your hemispheres. Your right hemisphere is roughly evolved, let's say, to deal with things you don't understand. That's chaos. And your left is there to deal with things you do understand. You can't just stay with the things you do understand, because you already understand them. And you can't just stay with what you don't understand, because then you're lost. So you need to be in the middle of those two. And you can tell when you're in the middle, because everything lines up.
Whoa! Yeah. What up, LL Cool J says, hey, whatever, I'm a subscriber now. Greetings from Ohio. Shouts out to Ohio all day long, baby. And if you want to know more about major record labels and the CIA, we might just have a little stream about that sometime, huh? Whoa!
Expedience is you do the thing that gets you off the hook the fastest right now. You play that game across time, it doesn't work. It sends you down. Because you're sacrificing the future for the present. Meaning doesn't do that. Meaning says, I'm here where I should be. And you can't tell why, it's just that everything is right. You get this physiological sense. Right place, right time. Follow this meaningful path. That's your buttress against the tragedy that produces resentment and malevolence. Meaning is the antidote to that. That's the fundamental religious truth. Life is suffering.
Life is suffering.
That's true.
That's true.
There's malevolence. That's true.
That's true.
Meaning is the antidote to that.
Yes.
People say, well, meaning isn't real. It's like, no, that's wrong. It's actually the most real thing. It might even be more real than suffering and evil.
Hey.
It's possible. This isn't a metaphysical assumption that I'm making. And you do feel it. You feel it in your body. It's not just a mental thing. It's not an idea. It's a place. Because we're in time and space, right? And a place is a place, 3 dimensions of space, but it's also a time. And when the place and the time are set up properly, you're in the right place. And your brain is telling you that. Your being is telling you that. The purpose of profound religious contemplation, profound philosophical contemplation, is to learn how to be in the right place at the right time.
All the time. Woo! Shouts out to Amond, ball in the yeet seat there.
All the time.
Getting after it. Excellent view of the ocean. Oh, what? Yeah.
There's this line from the Gospel of Thomas, which was discovered in 1957. And it says, the kingdom of God is spread out before the eyes of men, but men do not see it. And that's kind of what it's referring to. There are times when you're in the right place at the right time, and then you're where you should be. And you're not really trained to notice that, because it isn't something we ever talk about. It's like you're in the right place at the right time. Okay, why? What did I do right? What did I do? I need to do more of that. So
Get in the zone, refuse to leave.
an hour a week when you first start noticing. And then maybe with 3 months of practice, you can get it up to like an hour a day. And then maybe you can get it up to 4 hours a day. And God only knows where you could get it if you keep practicing, you know. You can be there. We don't know what the upper limit of that is.
No, we do not. My brother, we do not know what the upper limit of that is, but we're doing our best to find out, by Joe. Make some noise for that most epic quest to find the upper limit of that. Because that's what we up to, baby. That's what we up to, Nightbot. Shouts out to Nightbot. Nightbot says, what the hell is water? Why does my Nightbot voice sound like a German? I need a better Nightbot voice. What the hell is water? What the hell is water? Yeah, that was a pretty good Nightbot voice. I was feeling that. Where did it go? No, come back. What the hell is water? There you go, very nice. Jazz has already looked in. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any sort of underwater adventure you wanted to.
I wonder what you would do if you had to dream
any dream you wanted to.
I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream
Any dream you wanted to.
and you would of course be able to alter your time sense.
Shouts out to Phoenix, Arizona.
Say 75 years of subjective time into 8 hours of sleep. You would, I suppose, start out by fulfilling all your wishes. You could design for yourself what would be the most ecstatic life. Love affairs, banquets, dancing girls, wonderful journeys, love affairs, banquets, dancing girls, wonderful journeys, gardens, music beyond belief.
Oh yeah.
Music beyond belief. Music beyond belief.
MAC makes noise.
I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. And then after a couple of months of this sort of thing at 75 years a night, you'll be getting a little taste for something different. You would move over to an adventurous dimension where there were sudden dangers involved and the thrill of dealing with dangers. And you could rescue princesses from dragons and go on dangerous journeys, make wonderful explosions and blow them up. Eventually get into contest with enemies. And after you've done that for some time, you'll think up a new wrinkle to forget that you were dreaming, so that you would think it was all for real, and to be anxious about it, because it'd be so great when you woke up. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. And then you say, well, like children who dare each other on things, how far out could you get? What could you take? What dimension of being lost, of abandonment of your power, what dimension of that could you stand? You could ask yourself this, because you know you'd eventually wake up. After you've gone on doing this, you see, for some time, you would suddenly find yourself sitting around in this room with all your personal involvement, problems, etc., talking with me. How do you know that's not what you're doing? Could be. Because after all, what would you do if you were God? I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. What would you do? What you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to? What you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to? 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 I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream. What would you do if you were God? Alright. What would you do if you were God? 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 Well, what would you do if you were God? Hey, maybe we do an international high five. Bind your energies together across space and time with the mighty Meaningwave Familia. You know, maybe that's what you would do. Maybe you'd cock back like that. Maybe you'd raise it up. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, maybe that's what you would do. Whoa! Feels like it works.
Here's just one example of the total wrongness of something I tend to be automatically sure of. Everything in my own immediate experience supports my deep belief that I am the absolute center of the universe. The realest, most vivid, and important person in existence. We rarely talk about this sort of natural, basic self-centeredness because it's so socially repulsive. But it's pretty much the same for all of us. It is our default setting, hardwired into our boards at birth. Think about it. There is no experience you have had that you are not at the absolute center of. The world as you experience it is there in front of you or behind you, to the left or right of you, on your TV or your monitor. The world as you experience it is there in front of you or behind you, to the left or right of you, on your TV or your monitor, and so on. Other people's thoughts and feelings have to be communicated to you somehow, but your own are so immediate.
Extra high five for high weights.
Real.
3, 2, 1.
Please don't worry that I'm getting ready to lecture you about compassion or other directedness or all the so-called virtues. This is not a matter of virtue. It's a matter of my choosing to do the work of somehow altering or getting free of my natural hardwired default setting, which is to be deeply and literally self-centered, and to see and interpret everything through this lens of self. People who can adjust their natural default setting this way are often described as being well adjusted, which I suggest to you is not an accidental term. The world as you experience it is there in front of you, or behind you, to the left or right of you, on your TV or your monitor. The world as you experience it is there in front of you, or behind you, to the left or right of you, on your TV or your monitor.
I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain.
Yeah! What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Pain, pain. Aye, what's in the box? Aye, aye, aye. What's in the box? Aye, aye, aye. What's in the box? Pain,
pain. What's in the what's in the box? What's in the box?
pain,
Pain. What's in the box? What's in the box?
what's in the box? Pain, aye. Yeah. In comparisons, the way that people do, Theophrastus says those done out of desire are worse than those done out of anger. Which is good philosophy. The angry man seems to turn his back on reason out of a kind of pain and in a convulsion. But the man motivated by desire, who is mastered by pleasure, seems somehow more self-indulgent, less manly in his sins. Theophrastus is right and philosophically sound to say the sin committed out of pleasure deserves a harsher rebuke than the one committed out of pain. The angry man is more like a victim of wrongdoing, provoked by pain to anger. The other man rushes into wrongdoing on his own, moved to action by desire. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now. If the gods exist, then to abandon human beings is not frightening. The gods would never subject you to harm. And if they don't exist, or don't care what happens to us, what would be the point of living in a world without gods or providence? But they do exist. They do care what happens to us, and everything a person needs to avoid real harm, they have placed within him. If there were anything harmful on the other side of death, they would have made sure that the ability to avoid it was within you. And if it doesn't harm your character, how can it harm your life? Yo, nature would not overlook such dangers through failing to recognize all the goods it saw them, but was powerless to prevent or correct them. Aye, to prevent or correct them. Aye, aye. Nor would it ever, through inability or incompetence, make such a mistake as to let good and bad things happen indiscriminately to good and bad alike. Aye. Good and bad alike, hey, good and bad alike. But death and life, success and failure, pain and pleasure, wealth and poverty, all these happen to good and bad alike. Hey, good and bad alike, hey, good and bad alike, hey, good and bad alike. But death and life, success and failure, pain and pleasure, all these happen to good and bad alike. And they are neither noble nor shameful, and hence they're neither good nor bad. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. You could leave life right now. You could leave life right now. Hey. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Aye. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 Make some noise, M-A-Z, for Marcus Aurelius and Alan Watts. We got Alan Watts in here right now, baby. Hey. Sound of the rain. Sound of the rain, baby. Stephen John says, what? Gustavo Gomez says the music to this song puts me in the zone. Well, here you have it, baby. The sound of the rain needs no translation. The sound of the rain needs no translation. The sound of the rain needs no translation. Sound of the rain. MAC, make some noise. All them wave emojis in the chat right now. We got Alan Watts up in ya. By Jove. What a privilege and an honor.
We've discussed the web from 3 points of view. As an analogy of the selective operation of our senses and mind, whereby certain things in the world are picked out as significant according to certain game rules. The game that we are playing mostly is the survival game. That is to say, the game ought to go on. Only the way we play the survival game has a kind of element in it which makes it difficult, because we tend to say the first rule of this game is that it's serious. And that messes the whole thing up. So you have to watch out, in other words, when you play, for contradictory game rules, self-contradictory game rules. Because if you get mixed up into them, the game ceases to be worth the candle. You start straining at doing something, then it just isn't worth it. Then the second thing that we observed was the web as an analogy of mutual interdependence. We could call it the idea that all existence is relative, that all existence is transaction. The transaction being typically exemplified by, say, the operation of buying and selling, in which there can be no buying without somebody selling, and there can be no selling without somebody else buying. That kind of interdependence, of the inside going together with the outside. What is in you going together with what is outside you is absolutely fundamental to existence. It is existence. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. What is in you going together with what is outside you is absolutely fundamental to existence. It is existence. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. Then we explored the web as a trap. The spider's web. Won't you come into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. And we saw what would look at all of life from the point of view that it is original selfishness and original hunger.
And we found that if you take that point of view to its ultimate extreme,
it dissolves. And it isn't so bad after all. Shakespeare says, it is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. When it's put that way, it doesn't seem so bad after all. What is in you going together with what is outside you is absolutely fundamental to existence. It is existence. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. What is in you going together with what is outside you is absolutely fundamental to existence. It is existence. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. I remember that I had a Zen master friend who wrote a letter to a friend of mine which was passed on to me. This friend of mine was aspiring to be a writer, and he was trying to write novels that would put across Buddhism to people. Sugar the pill. And my Zen master friend didn't approve of this at all. He said, don't write any story to people. Write it to the great sky. Because all the real masters of literature, especially novelists and storytellers, are great masters of nonsense. Think of Lewis Carroll. You can use Lewis Carroll, and he did use Alice in Wonderland, as a Zen textbook. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toes that gyre and gimble in the wave. That's Zen. I had a discussion with a great master in Japan. We were talking about the various people who are working to translate the Zen books into English. He said, that's a waste of time. If you really understand Zen, he said, you can use any book. You could use the Bible. You could use Alice in Wonderland. You could use the dictionary. Because, he said, the sound of the rain needs no translation. The sound of the rain needs no translation. The sound of the rain needs no translation. The sound of the rain needs no translation.
Sound of the rain, the 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 sound of the rain.
Evening rain. It is the banana leaf that speaks of it first. You see, that's the point. And all the talk in the world doesn't get it unless you listen to the talk in a new way. The sound of the rain needs no translation. The sound of the rain needs no translation. The sound of the rain needs no translation. The sound of the rain needs no translation.
These stories of mythology are simply trying to express a truth that can't be grasped any other way.
Well, I'll be damned.
It's the edge, the interface between what can be known and what is never to be discovered, because it is a mystery transcendent of all human research. The source of life. What is it? No one knows. It's important to live life with a knowledge of its mystery and of your own mystery. And it gives life a new zest, a new balance, a new harmony to do this. What is it that life is? I find thinking in mythological terms has helped people visibly. You can see it happen. It erases anxieties, puts them in accord with the inevitables of their life, and they can see the positive values of what, the negative aspects of what is positive. It's whether you're going to say no to the serpent or yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent or yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living. It's whether you're going to say no to the serpent or yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent, yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living. Dragons represent greed, really. The European dragon guards things in his cave, and what he guards are heaps of gold and virgins. And he can't make use of either of them, but he just guards. There's no vitality of experience, either of the value of the gold or of the female whom he's guarding there. Psychologically, the dragon is one's own binding of oneself to one's ego, and you're captured in your own dragon cage. The power of the psychiatrist is to break that dragon, open him up, so that you can have a larger field of relationships. It's whether you're going to say no to the serpent or yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent or yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living. Whether you're going to say no to the serpent, yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent, yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living. The real dragon is in you. That's your ego holding you in. What I want, what I believe, what I can do, what I think I love, and all that. What I regard as the aim of my life and so forth. It might be too small. It might be too small. It might be that which pins you down. And if it's simply that of doing what the environment tells you to do, it certainly is pinning you down. And so the environment is your dragon as it reflects within yourself. As it reflects within yourself. As it's whether you're going to say no to the serpent or yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent or yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living. Whether you're going to say no to the serpent or yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent, yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive. It's whether you're going to say no to the serpent or yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent or yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive. It's whether you're going to say no to the serpent, yes to the serpent. It's easy as that. No to the serpent, yes to the serpent. The adventure of being alive, of living.
Oh yes, the serpent. Hey. Nah. No, it's the serpent. Oh yes, the serpent. Yeah. Rest in peace, little people. Hey.
Akira.
Make some noise for yourselves. That last track was No to the Serpent, Yes to the Serpent. Yes to the Serpent, that's what I called it. Yes to the Serpent. From the unreleased Joseph Campbell album. One of the things we're doing here at Meaningwave HQ is accruing clout so that we can just do whatever we want, you know? And so mainly so we can release that album. Because someone owns the rights to it that isn't the Joseph Campbell Foundation, and they do not have the ability to sort it out. Yeah. One of these days, I figure someone will be listening to the stream and they'll be like, huh, I know the people involved in the ownership of that thing, the power of myth, and it'll get sorted out. That's what I'm assuming. That's what I'm manifesting, baby. Because I really want you all to be able to hear that album. Because it's, it's one of the best ones. You know, it's one of the great Meaningwave albums, and it only exists on this computer here. It's backed up in a couple places too.
There's a myth. There is in the beginning the divine bird which lays the egg of the world. And the egg splits. And the upper is the heavens, and
and the lower is the earth. So when the worlds are manifested, the Lord breathing out says, hung. And when the worlds are withdrawn, the breath comes back.
Sound of the waves. Sound of the waves. Sound of the waves. Sound of the waves. Sound of the waves.
But if you say hung, sa, hung, sa, hung, sa, hung, it becomes sa, hung, sa.
Yeah.
Sa, hung. That means, sa means that.
No, I didn't see that YouTube, Alex. Send that over again.
Imagine when we get to the final moment in which the world is blown up. Imagine the countdown. This is the end. Somebody's pushed the button. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can sit and listen to the little waves on the seashore. And you'll get back here into this kind of thinking, and you're hearing the ocean of the universe going. And that's your breathing, too. It's all one rhythm. So it may be that every star was once a planet populated by intelligent people who found out about the fundamental energy of the universe, blew themselves up. And as they blew up, they scattered all kinds of stuff out, which became little planets. Which in a long time, life started all over again.
Sound of the waves. Whoa! Sound of the waves. 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 Yeah.
I want to put it two ways. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, something to be condemned, to take your own individual life seriously, in dead earnest, and to have all the problems that go with that. Do you understand that being that way, that being a real mixed up human being, is a manifestation of nature that is something just like patterns on the waves out here. Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves. That's what we do. Yeah, yeah, I said
patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves. That's what we do. That's what we do. Yeah.
Or like a seashell. You know, we pick up shells. I always keep one around, sort of an example. For many things. Say, my goodness, isn't that gorgeous? There's not an aesthetic fault in it anywhere. It's absolutely perfect. Now, I wonder if these fish look at each other's shells and say, don't you think she's kind of fat? Oh my, those markings aren't really very well spaced. Because that's what we do.
Hey.
Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves.
That's what we do.
What's up, buddy?
Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. Hey.
See, we don't realize that all of us in our various goings on and behavior and so on are just as more marvelous much more complicated, much more interesting. All these gorgeous faces that I'm looking at. You know, every one of them. Some are supposedly pretty, some are supposedly not so pretty. But they're all absolutely gorgeous. And everybody's eyes is a piece of jewelry beyond compare. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. Aye, aye.
Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves.
Patterns on the waves.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Patterns on the waves. 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 That's what we do. Patterns on the waves. 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 That's what we do. Hey. MAC, make some noise for Alan Watts. Make some noise for those patterns on the waves. And that's what we do. Pattern recognition machines. Patterning machines. Pattern execution machines. Patterns on the waves. Yeah. Shouts out to everyone who's been locked in tonight. Shouts out to everyone who's supporting the wave. If you want to support the wave, you should go meaningwave.com and check out the new collections. New collections. There's that Great Wave of Meaning collection, which is very beautiful and fly. And if you're a simpler person, a simpler kind of person, a person who likes, just to get straight to the point, baby. We got an epic new range that contains fine Meaningwave slogans, fine choices of words like choose meaning, Meaningwave exists, grateful to the gods, and many more besides, baby. Go to meaningwave.com, check that out. If you want to support the wave, you can do that. You can make a one-time donation via the link below. You can go to Bandcamp, download some music. You can go to Spotify, rack up the playlists. Of course, the most important thing you can do is let people know Meaningwave exists. It's really amazing. The guy who makes it has a spaceship, and sometimes he goes into space, and sometimes he goes underwater and plays epic water-themed sets. Very joyful. Tells you about how the sound of the rain needs no translation. I know, Kevin, it's true. It's called Meaningwave. It exists. Seriously, Kevin, it's true. Kevin's like, no way does Meaningwave exist. That sounds far too epic. Look, seriously, right? It's like the wisdom of the ages fused with amazing music. It feels like it works. Kevin's like, holy cow. Really? Jeff's like, new much, sick. That's right, Jeff, new much. New much, Jeff. Get after it, meaningwave.com. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. CT, 7 p.m. CC. 7 is on Twitch. 7 p.m., of course, is on YouTube. Of course it is. Patterns on the waves. Congratulations on making it through another week, brothers and sisters, and we're going straight into another one. That's the way the weeks go. Weeks just become new weeks. Australia's already deep in Monday. Shouts out to Australia. Big day here at Meaning Hit Towers tomorrow. keep an eye on the stories, you might see some of it unfold. If you're really amazing at making videos, by the way, hit me up. We need help making amazing videos. Oh, there you go. Oh no. Close. But yeah, amazing video people, holler at me. Amazing. Amazing. You know how the music's amazing? As amazing as that. That's what we need, baby. Hey. Bang on time. Spectrum Internet just collapses. Beautiful.